Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the New to Wrestling podcast. This week, we watched the April 14th, 1997 edition of Raw is War, and the match card is as follows. We had the Legion of Doom taking on the Godwins. In our opener, in our second match, we had Hunter Hearst Helmsley taking on Jesse James. We had Rocky Maivia taking on Savio Vega. The Sultan took on Goldust. The Headbangers versus Vader and Mankind. And in our main event, we had Crush taking on Ahmed Johnson. All
Wow.
right, guys. So this one was weird. This one was international. This one had technical difficulties. So
it had it all. Brought out every flavor you could think. Oh, it had bikinis. It had
not that it fit nicely into the episode at all, but we really jammed them in there. Like,
oh my god, we really threw it in your face.
But for those of you watching the video portion, if you look right behind me, right here, there it is. You'll see a Dudley Boys ECW shirt. Kelsey and I have been reunited. We reunited
God,
this weekend. So good. We got absolutely no sleep. But
not a lick.
No, when I tell you, I was like a shell of a human after. Like shell.
As is like the tenor of every time we get together for a weekend. We're like, yeah, we're gonna do XYZ, and then we do 100,000 things, don't sleep, and then we're like, okay, see ya.
See ya. Yeah, no, literally.
One of us always loses our voice. I lost my voice when you came here last time. You lost your voice when I came there this weekend.
Yeah, it was nuts. Like so much so that like it was just air. Like I was just shoving air through my vocal cords, and like nothing was happening. I was like but you know, such is life. That's how you know you had a good time.
True.
That's what I'm saying. So for those of you that don't know, I live in the greater Philadelphia area. She came to visit me this weekend, and we got to go to Suplex Vintage Wrestling, which is
so cool.
The only brick and mortar wrestling shop, I think, on the East Coast, and who we will actually have as a guest in the very, very near future. Obviously not the store itself. We'll have one of the owners of the
proprietors.
Store.
So exciting.
So that's going to be super exciting, but we did get to go and like hang out with just wrestling fans, which was really nice. Everybody at the shop was super, super nice, and just
so nice.
Was just down to just talk wrestling, obviously.
So nice.
When you're a wrestling fan and you really got to like look out in the wild for others, it's nice to just have a place to go to.
Yeah,
which is fun. So I will definitely be making the trek back. It's only a trek if there's like traffic.
Yeah,
I don't physically live that far from the shop. It's the getting in and out of Philly.
As I'm sure a lot of you can relate to. But it is such a cool store. It's in an amazing section of Philly. Like, it's just not that there aren't, I mean, Philly's just cool regardless, but it's the coolest shop. Everyone there was just ridiculously nice, so willing to just like, again, like you said, like talk to you about wrestling, just like wanted to show you everything that was awesome. Like when you, I think, picked up the Dudley Boys shirt, one of the employees was like, oh, like come over here and like look up at this other shirt. There's like a shirt that was like literally worn by Spike. Like so crazy. They have so many amazing things in there. If you guys are in the area or able to go, please go check them out, because it's 100% worth the trip. So fun.
So fun. But all right, guys, let's get into this one. This one was a very, very if there was ever an episode that was just like a, how do I say, like a hodgepodge of,
it was a decoupage of a bunch of different random things. I am not even sure what happened.
So this episode actually emanated from, I guess, 3 locations, mainly 2. 3 they added just, I think, for the sake of saying it was coming from 3 locations.
Yeah.
So it was coming from Johannesburg, South Africa, somewhere in America. They didn't really say.
Never said one time.
They just kept saying specifically that they were in America.
Right.
I was like, that's not like, we're not one of those like tiny European countries where you go like, oh, like I'm in like Belgium, and you're like, okay, I get it. Generally,
you're in Belgium. Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean?
Prague.
Like,
yeah.
You say like I'm in America, like it's so massive. It could be.
Even if you say New York, it's like, are we upstate? Are we in the city? Are we like in the Finger Lakes? Like, what's like where, when? America?
apparently
girl.
unnecessary information.
It's so
So
crazy.
so we had like kind of split commentary teams for the two events. So in America, we had Vince and Jim Cornette,
Back
and
from
then
the dead
who, yeah, honestly, we haven't seen in months,
forever.
and they just brought back like just didn't say anything,
No
didn't
comment.
mention his absence.
Nothing.
The only
We haven't
person that
seen
brings it up is like the Honky Tonk Man later on, but like that's
later,
it. Like that's it.
but we haven't seen him since the Undertaker tombstoned him
Right,
like 5 ever ago when Jim was still the manager of Vader and
right,
like Paul Bear hadn't acquired him yet. So
right.
like
What are we
I
doing?
months, no comment, nothing. There he is on commentary, just like, yep, this is normal.
Just back, run of the mill.
So
And then
crazy.
on the South African side, we had JR and the Honky Tonk Man. I guess Jerry the King had the night off, but that was not the combo I was expecting. It was certainly
No.
not the odd couple I had in my head.
No, the couple was too odd. Therefore, there wasn't quite the repartee, I guess. I
Right.
was
Mm-hmm.
I was envisioning,
Right. That's fair.
but I don't know.
But
I don't
alas, we're
know.
here. So in our opening match, we have the Legion of Doom taking on the Godwins. This match came to fruition after the Godwins inadvertently slopped the Legion of Doom last week when their
Mm,
intended tag team champions, Owen and the Bulldog, ducked out of the way at the last minute, thus
mm-hmm.
covering the Legion of Doom, and an ensuing fight happened. And it
Yes.
wasn't enough. The retribution wasn't as sweet or as fulfilling, so we have this match going on. So
Thank God.
um the who is it? Jim Cornette called it a drive-by slopping.
Yeah,
That was
funny.
cute.
Love that.
I will say Jim really went out on a limb on this. It's like on commentary in this episode, especially in regards to like the tag team champions, which made them sound like they were like the masterminds of like this match happening.
This,
And
yeah.
Kelsey pointed out that they just ducked. That's it. They did
He
what any person would do when somebody's trying to
something is
throw a
thrown at
bucket of liquid at you is move. So
it was so weird. Jim was like, like first of all, you're not their manager anymore. So I don't know what this is. Are you like working your way back to them with a burning love inside, Frankie Valley? Like
mhm,
I just I like he was like they're like masterminds. They did this so they could like cause discord
mhm,
between the other tag teams so they could like stay on top. And it's like I think they literally just ducked. I think
right.
they just ducked and like LOD was like, "Well, that's rude that you slapped me, so now I'm gonna fight you." I don't think like it's not like Bulldog is out there filling the slap bucket and going, "Here, throw this at them." You know what I
No,
mean? I was like,
100%. Yeah,
"Jim,
yeah,
calm
yeah.
down, please. Seriously."
I know he's really pulling the spin doctor on that one. I was like,
Mm.
I
Mhm.
don't think it's as deep
Mm-mm.
as you think it is, but that's cute.
Yeah.
Um, he did have a funny line about Phineas though. Phineas uses a headbutt on one of the Legion of Doom members, and he goes, "Oh well, he's using his head finally for something more than like carrying like or wearing a hat or carrying dandruff from place to place." And you're just like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Okay, Jim, he's back with the heat." He
I know.
said,
I will say I miss the he is so shady and he will
"So
say
shady."
the nastiest thing.
At one point, Hawk of the Legion of Doom unfortunately like misses Phineas and absolutely just like shoulder tackles the ring post
Mm-mm.
with like such force that it project like his body. It was so hard that like hitting the ring post wasn't enough to stop him. The momentum
Yeah.
of the rest of his
He
body
like
carried him
folded.
like around. He basically would like hit around the ring post. Like
Yeah.
it was
Like he
crazy.
like his shoulder kind of like swung him out. It like hit so hard. Yeah, it was not a pleasant experience to behold.
No, no.
That's for sure.
He like hits ring post, hits floor, like outside the ring. And you're like, okay,
I
that looked
mean,
that one looked like it hurt.
real
So
bad.
the match, as was alluded to by Vince McMahon, like this is not a technical classic. This is not going to be anything of the sort. It is
No.
just big dudes hitting each other the whole time.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it's very much that. It's very just like high impact move, high impact move, high impact move from both sides. The Bulldog and Owen make their way down because why not? They're the champions, and they got to get their 2 cents in before this Sunday's pay-per-view.
You
So they
know.
come down to the ring apron. The Bulldog hits Hawk with the tag team title in the back of the head, which
Mm-mm.
allows the Godwins to pick up the victory, and thus adds a little bit of heat for this Sunday's title match.
Love
So
to see it.
yeah, I mean, I feel like all they've successfully done is just piss off the Legion of Doom, which I don't know if that's really what your like MO should be, but
Yeah.
um, you do what you got to do.
Yeah, and they're fulfilling their new destiny as reformed members of the Heart Foundation and being just little, I mean, not that they weren't little schemers before, but
Hmm.
now, they got to get out there, they got to do their thing, put their 2 cents in, and by their 2 cents, their giant gold champion
Right,
belt
right,
onto
right, right.
somebody's head and, get on with their night. So, not
Hey,
unexpected.
you do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
So then we are taken to South Africa, where Hunter Hearst Helmsley with China is taking
Hey,
on Jesse
girl.
James. The Honky Tonk Man is very bitter. We get a replay of Jesse James smashing the Honky Tonk Man's guitar.
Always a
Mm,
delight to see again.
Listen, we love seeing a comeuppance,
Thrills
and
me every time.
we also get a replay of the of WrestleMania 13 when China is ragdolling um Marlena. just
Mm-hmm.
just just a friendly reminder of who this bitch is, because
Right.
in case you forgot, or in case the audience in South Africa wasn't familiar with.
Aware
Yeah.
of the power. Also, China said, um, hair down for South Africa. She said, forget the pony. Like I'm gonna have
Hmm.
my hair just whoosh, whoosh down around my face. It was beautiful, sleek, shiny, and like not a single hair out of place. It was like as straight as her face normally is.
Oh,
It's just like
absolutely. And I
she
have a
was
note
really
that
giving
just
Edna mode.
Edna mode.
100%. You are Triple H. Pull yourself together.
Absolutely amazing. I have a note that just says China, best side eye in the game.
Period. I've
Because
never in my so
every
good.
time they cut to this lady on the outside, she is just giving just daggers. But it's always like daggers on an angle. Like it's never
It's never dead on. It's never
it's
like
never
it's always like
direct. When it's direct, she looks dead. But like when she's hitting you from the side, I would probably crap a little bit. Like I'm not gonna lie. like someone would have to check. Because she is scary. She's being scary.
she is really scary. There might be a little like there could be an accident. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, I also have a note that says like when she looks like she's never experienced joy. Like like
So
she only knows like malice.
that's it. I'm saying seethe 24/7. That's it. Just seething. Like so angry. I'm so into it though. Because it's such a quiet seethe. Like
Mm,
it's such a calm, cool, collected seethe. Like where it's
yes.
like she just is like a robot. Like you just go like activate and she just comes in and throttles people, like kills people
Oh, I love that.
on command. No
It's absolutely
feeling.
fantastic though. Like
Yeah. Oh, love it.
she's just so like she it all is just her presence. Has said nothing.
Not a
She like, you
thing.
know what I mean? Like she
Not
hasn't
a
said
thing.
like a goddamn word, and we're all just like,
Like
"What are you gonna do?
China. Oh,
Hey."
China's here. Hi. No, don't. No. Okay.
So
Obsessed.
this is the match where the technical difficulties became very apparent.
Oh yeah, did
Uh,
we mention that the little episode opened with just technical difficulties through the whole episode?
yeah, so I mentioned it like that there
We
were
like had
technical
technical difficulty.
difficulties.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but so basically, like half of the matches, all of the matches had at least some or most of the audio just as far as the commentary team just wasn't there. They would cut
None.
in, they'd say like a sentence, they'd be gone, then it'd just be like just 5 minutes of just camera audio. And camera audio is wild. Like
Mm-hmm.
camera audio is crazy. The fact that they
Really.
didn't just like record this over like in a studio a la like 1986, whatever they were doing back then,
Mhm.
is nuts to me that they just like left it sans just sans audio, like sans commentary.
Mhm.
And like this happened in 19, it's not like they haven't had time to go back and like go over it, you know what I
And
mean? Like
yeah, say something. Yeah, it was just it was almost a silent film or like just I don't know. Like it was so weird. And then it seemed like someone it almost felt like someone was like standing on one of the cords for the audio and then they would like move and you could
mhm.
hear Jim and Honky Tonk Man for like 2 seconds and then they would like move back over again and like the wire would be like cut again. Like it was the
Right.
most
It was like the
random
days
things
of
they
like
would.
antennas, you know what I mean? Where you'd be like
Yes, like the signal was like not good.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, fully. Like
um
someone needs to like go over there and like put their finger on it and then the TV like works again.
Suddenly works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um the Honky Tonk Man at one point Jim is basically just like, you need to move on from Jesse James, and he's like, I will never. He's like, I will never forgive, and I will never forget.
And
So
honestly, respect it. I
I
get it.
mean, hold a grudge if you gotta hold a grudge. But so it is alluded to that at this pay-per-view, Jesse James will be taking on the mystery protege of the Honky Tonk Man. We don't know anything other than he's found someone.
He's acquired a protege finally, and he
Somebody
decided
to
to do the correct thing and do it behind the scenes instead of on the stage where you can just be refused and publicly embarrassed multiple times.
amen. Amen.
Hate to see it because I
This
love
isn't
to watch
Star
that happen,
Search,
but
all right?
swear, think it's not The Voice. Like, let's be so real right now.
Oh my
Just
god, I would
have a
never
chat.
trust that man with a spinning chair. And
Never ever.
uh
Ever, ever, ever.
I did say this does a good job of establishing Jesse James as kind of like a better in-ring talent. I think this is
Yes,
the
100%.
most in-ring, like this is the longest we've seen him really, like bell to bell.
Yes.
And the most impressive he's looked in a match.
100%, I completely agree. I was shocked by how much I actually enjoyed watching him wrestle because he really was getting on my nerves for a minute there. We all know this. Check the tracks.
Mhm.
Like we
Check the track.
check the tapes. Like we know this. First of all, ever since he cut that mullet, he's like he started to grow on me. Then when he smashed the guitar, now I'm really feeling it. But yeah, he just like he was so much more like physically involved in this match. Like I felt like he actually had moves, like he had the upper hand for a lot of it. He was getting the crowd going. Like I felt like they were really rooting for him. It just
Mhm.
felt like it felt completely different. I totally agree with you.
So the Honky Tonk Man in his bitter rage gets up from the commentary table, and JR the entire time is like, "What are you doing? Like, this is too much. Like, you need."
Yeah, he's like,
He's
you need
like,
to sit down.
right. He's like, "You're going way above and beyond what you're supposed to be doing right now."
And like at one point, Honky Tonk Man's like, don't hold me back, JR. And he goes, I don't want to hold you back. Like, but like we're working. Like,
JR's literally like, I was like, I want no part of this.
yeah,
Like,
like no, I just like don't want you to sabotage my paycheck tonight. Like, just sit down.
exactly, exactly. So Honky Tonk Man runs over to the opposite side of the ring by the entrance, and he waits for his moment as Jesse James is hitting the ropes. He grabs his leg, trips him. Obviously, Jesse James is miffed, so he turns around to start yelling at the Honky Tonk Man, which allows Hunter to sneak in and get the pedigree, get the victory, and yeah. So the Honky Tonk Man has officially cost Jesse James a match, and Jesse James grabs the microphone after the match and he's like, shake, rattle, and roll your old ass in here and let's go now. Like he's like, he's
Amazing.
like, I don't need to wait for your little buddy. I was like, if you want to physically get involved, then like by all
Then
means.
let's go. Yeah.
Uh so Honky, like, does the whole song and dance. He gets up on the apron, he strips a little, which was a little off-putting and not
No one wanted
unnecessary.
to see that.
He starts like
No one.
unzipping, and I'm like, it's a jumpsuit. It's one unit.
Yeah, so what are you
It
gonna
is
do?
it is one thing. I
I
don't
did
know.
not even think of that. Like you what would you be wrestling in your underwear, like in your skivvies? Like what is this?
Right. So he like unzips it and like starts like taking it off, and then he like just like decides against it. Um, thank God. And
Thank God.
and and he basically calms down enough to be like, no, my stooge will deal with this on Sunday. I'm not going to, be the one to get in there.
Ooh,
Boo.
whatever.
We knew. We been new.
Yeah, and Jesse James, super into this, acquired there were a few people in the audience that had signs that just said chicken.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesse James grabs one of those and then is like in the ring when Honky Tonk Man walks away and is just holding the chicken sign. And at one point, he even waved it like a bullfighter. Was like, "Yeah, no, come on, you little chicken!" Like, "Bop, bop," like,
Love
let's
that.
go.
I love
So
that.
funny.
I love a
Jesse
well-placed
James is
crowd
turning a
sign.
corner for me in my heart, mind, and spirit.
He's very funny. When
He
he gets
is pretty funny.
into his next like character, you're gonna love him. He's really funny.
Thank God. This is what I say every time. It's like nothing ever lasts. Like I'll get over things except for
Mm-hmm.
Paul Bear, but I'll get over other things like
Fair.
people's
That's
initial
totally valid.
characters, like whatever. Like I'm not a hater for life except for Paul Bear. But
I get that. I get that.
yeah.
And that's totally valid, totally warranted. So,
Yeah. Hmm.
so in our next match, we have Rocky Maivia taking on Savio Vega with Crush. This is a non-title match. These two will be competing again this Sunday for the title. So this is just
Like a
a like
warm up.
see how you fare kind of deal.
Mm.
Um, the big talking point in the beginning is that Savio's more experienced, which annoys the Honky Tonk Man because he's just like, "You're the Intercontinental Champion. You can't make mistakes." And I'm like, "Your hair, your outfit, your belts. Like, who says we can't make mistakes? That's crazy." Like, okay.
You're this whole gig is a mistake. Like I don't know who you're fooling.
I was like,
You were literally like, I mean, hair, outfit, shoes, vibes. I'm just like,
I was like, you couldn't even pick like a friend, right? You know, you like
oh,
missed the mark on that one. So like who are we to be just hooting and
not
hollering?
you in this glass house.
No, that's what
Smashing
I'm
all these
saying.
guitars. It just
No,
seems so crazy.
no, it's like when people pick their nose while they're driving. We can all see you. You're in a fishbowl. Stop.
Oh my, and then talk about like distracted drivers. Sir, if your hand's up your nose, it's not on the wheel. Let's talk.
I will say, and I have to call this out because it's absolutely insane. No, they were not making jokes about the apartheid
Okay,
in
I was scared to talk
1997
about
because
this.
that's nuts. That is crazy. As it was happening, I was just like, no, we're not doing that. Are
No, no,
we?
no, no,
Like,
no, 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 no,
no.
no.
And then they did. And I
And
was
then they
like,
did. And they did it in the worst way possible by saying, like, oh, it's like that thing and when you separate your hair.
I was like,
Like,
no,
no,
not at all like that, actually.
no, it's super not
Um,
super uncomfortable.
so thumbs down on that one, WWE.
Boo,
Like,
tomato, tomato. Hate
like
it.
let's learn and grow, please. And make it faster because I cannot do
Yeah, no,
this.
don't draw out the apartheid. Like,
No
no,
thanks.
completely tasteless. So gross.
We do get a cutaway from a little backstage segment with Ahmed Johnson. JR basically asks him, he's like, are you planning on bringing the 2x4 like down to the ring? He's like, you think I would come down without it?
I love
Like
it. He answered
he's like
so quick.
he's
Oh,
like
you think I would
that's
come without Bessie, my 2x4?
um oh, and then the best, the Honky Tonk Man starts saying like something, and Ahmed Johnson cuts him off. He's like, if you say one word to me, Honky, I will break this 2x4 over your face. And that's crazy. It was so immediate and it was so final. And it was just such a threat that you just go, yeah, okay, yeah.
I believe you. Like literally, like Honky Tonk Man started talking, and Ahmed was literally like, if he had had hair, he would have been like, no, no, don't say one more word,
No,
not
literally.
one,
He's
or
literally
I
like, I
will
don't know
break this two by
who
four over your head.
he's like, I don't know who you think you are, but you were mistaken.
Yeah,
Um,
no, 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 you got the wrong one.
I
See,
will
mistakes, Honky Tonk. People make mistakes.
amen. Um, in the words of Hannah Montana, everybody make mistakes.
Everybody has those days.
um, I will say the Ahmed Johnson leaves us with this like last line that I didn't know that he had put into the
The
what am I thinking?
docket.
Yes, he walk it like I talk it. I love
Right
it.
in the docket.
I love that. I love it. I love it. I love
Walk it
it.
like I talk it. Walk it like I talk.
Um, oh, and then Jim Cornette, because he was 2 for 2 on the racism today, makes a hooked on Ebonics joke, and I'm going to lose it. Like
No.
they need to put a
Eh,
muzzle on this man. The
and
the
they
liberal use of Ebonics in 1997 is crazy.
There was a lot because then also, you know, Farouk has this, we've talked about this before, like later, Farouk says like weird things and we're like, ooh,
Right.
don't like it. But yeah, and also because he was like, ask everyone in South Africa if they have the hooked on Ebonics for
Right.
Ahmed Johnson. And it's like, okay, now you're dragging a lot of people into this that just feels
I
icky.
literally next to it, I just have yikes.
Yeah, big yikes.
Big
Ooh, big yikes,
yikes.
big yikes, big yikes.
I'm glad that they kind of like course corrected after this match because we don't get another, or at least on commentary.
Yeah, we don't get
Um,
another saucy comment from Jim Cornette, but it's just so funny of all the audios to not work. Like these are the ones that worked. Like all
right.
these like
Like the whole
terrible things.
episode, we're just
None of the
watching in
match.
silence, but like,
None of the match, but all the whatever, the filth. I don't even know between
right. So I have Savio's just straight up choking Rocky at one point, just in front of the ref, just blatantly choking him.
choking
He
him.
also just like puts this like one like trap grab thing on Rocky for like 8
5 minutes.
minutes of the match. Like it's just like it's so long and it's so boring and you're just like do something else." Like
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Cause also it just look I'm like, I feel like I like when people do that to me. Like, isn't it just like a shoulder massage? Like, I don't know. He was just kind of going like this, like
right,
squeezing it. And I was like, don't
interesting.
people like that? Like, I don't know. I was just like, this is such a weird one to hold for this long.
Honestly, at one point Farouk does come down to start directing traffic because apparently he's like an air traffic controller and he's injured. We haven't really seen Farouk in weeks.
Yeah.
So
He's
he's
got his
he's
little
like coming
sling.
out in like a little sling. Um but Savio picks up the victory when he like rolls up Rocky and holds on to the tights. So once again cheating. Maybe not so much the outside help this time, but
Mm-hmm.
nonetheless, they know the tricks.
Yeah, he exposed most of Rocky's butt cheek, which I'm not
Yeah.
upset about. I don't like the cheating, but I was just like, oh, hello.
Mhm. I mean, if you're gonna cheat, at least give us a silver
Satisfy people.
lining. You know
Yeah,
what I
thank
mean?
you.
Like,
At least give the people what they want.
and of course, the nation immediately comes in and attacks Rocky.
Mm.
And then Ahmed Johnson and his trusty 2x4 plank comes down and just starts clearing house.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so after that, we get a Stone Cold Steve Austin promo, which was just truly spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
As we know, last week he pulled double duty, so he had his own match and then had to fill in for Psycho Sid in the main event.
Mm-hmm.
But the only way he was going to do it is if Gorilla Monsoon gave him Bret Hart at the pay-per-view. So Stone Cold's basically he comes down to the ring and Vince McMahon's like, "Oh, so you're getting what you want, like your match with Brett." And he basically was like, "It's about time I'm getting what I want because you and Gorilla seem to just have nothing better to do than to hold me down." Um,
Mm.
he's like, "You can't hold me down any longer." And he's like, "You can't deny that I'm the baddest SOB to walk into this ring as soon as the bell rings."
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, "Okay, you're again, no lie,
Not no.
no lies." And then he goes on to address Bret Hart and how Bret Hart's always like whining and crying about being screwed by everybody. And essentially the summation of the rest of the promo is you haven't been screwed until you've been screwed by Stone Cold, is essentially what he says. He's like, you have
Period.
not known what it's like to be screwed over until I get my hands on you.
Yeah.
And it he makes a very like pointed effort to be like the result of this match does not matter. I'm looking for a fight, which is great.
Love
Your
that.
your thoughts on this one?
I loved it. I was so he makes this point at one point in the promo where he accuses Bret Hart of copying him.
Oh yeah, that
And
was
at
weird.
first I was like, what? I was like, what do you mean? Like, no. And then I was like, well, like, and then I was thinking about it, I was like, well, maybe like where he's doing this more like hardcore, like no BS, like whatever, I'm gonna screw you over, like who cares, like that kind of rattlesnake energy.
Right.
But at first I was like, huh? But then I was like,
Mhm.
okay, like maybe I could see that. I kind of like I wish he kind of like went into it more or explained it more. Like I don't where he was like, you've copied like I don't even really know what it was about, but for some reason that like stuck with me and I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, maybe like where he's gonna be like the heel now. Because they kind of did a swap where like now Bret Hart is the
Yeah.
heel
Mm-hmm.
and Stone Cold is like the anti-hero or whatever. So I thought that was like kind of interesting.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I want to see where that goes. I'm also
Yeah,
interested to see what this match is going to turn into because we've already had some pretty brutal exchanges, and this is just supposed to be like a regular old match. So,
just for funsies. I know. I was like that it really is so crazy. I always am like floored by how there's certain beefs where like they don't fight for a really long time. There's like this build up, like Mankind and Undertaker. Like they weren't fighting every other week. Like there was like a lot of
hmm
build up and they fought other people and then they would like
hmm
Undertaker's voice would like come over and whatever.
right.
But I feel like Stone Cold and Bret Hart fight so much. I'm not mad about it. I
No, no,
love to
no,
see it,
no.
but they
It
fight
is.
with like a more of a frequency. And
Hmm
so when they were like, "Yeah, this Sunday," I was like, "Oh my God, we're like already here. We're already fighting.
Right.
We're already ready to go."
And I
It's
feel like
just
this
so
one
crazy.
snuck up on us. This pay-per-view snuck up on us.
I cannot believe it's another pay-per-view already.
And it might be because we're doing like other things, like we have, After Dark, and we're watching other things. So maybe it's just
There's
like
so much
going
going on,
faster.
yeah.
But I was like, damn, didn't we just watch WrestleMania? That's crazy. Uh,
I feel like Undertaker's been champion for 4 minutes.
no, literally. That's because he got
4.
fireballed in the face, and then we
The
haven't
day
seen
after we
him.
haven't seen him. So sad.
Mm,
I can't wait to see him come back though.
amen. He's gonna be pissed.
So
Uh,
man.
In our next match, we had the Sultan taking on Goldust. Goldust had a little cat-inspired look today. It was
Mm-hmm.
I was just not expecting it. He just like had like little whiskers, and then he like makes it down to the ring. Like we get the whole entrance. He takes off his wig, and then he's got like spots,
He has
like
like
little.
leopard print on
Yeah,
his hair.
I was like, love that. I love
Yeah,
a I love the commitment.
we said like Marlena was kitty stunting, except I used a
Mm,
harsher word at the Slammies and he said bet. I
right.
bet I can too.
Hmm.
So, he really gave it to us.
I have a note that just says underrated. Goldust's ass.
Okay, let's talk because it's the outfit. And you know how I feel about the
Hmm.
outfit. I hate it. I hate the bowling gear because I just feel like there's it's
Like,
I don't know. I just made a lot of for if you're not watching us, I just made a lot of like motions with my
yeah, there was
hands.
a lot of gesticulations.
Yeah, a
Um,
lot of that.
but yeah, it's just so tight.
Oh,
And which is the point.
yep.
I get it because he's supposed to be like overtly sexual. Like that's the whole gag. But damn. Like every
Yeah.
time he takes off the robe and I'm just like
Yeah.
it just feels like that could like split at any moment. Like
Yeah.
any moment.
Yeah.
Like
No, it's he plays a dangerous game with that one piece,
mm,
that shiny one piece. But that's his way. He plays a dangerous game regardless because he was like he really laid it on this match like with the overt like
mhm.
kissing, sexuality, touching himself, like
Mhm. He was really going to
so
town.
good.
I mean,
Yeah, I was obsessed.
hey, if your opponent is, that weak-minded that they are affected by it, then by all means,
Period.
use it. At one point, the Sultan's just like over it. He like leaves the ring and just starts like walking to like
Like he's
leave, and then you
yeah.
hear Sheik just being like, "Don't leave! Like this is our country. Like you're representing our country," and you're like, "Oh, I don't know what this means. Like I don't. Okay." Uh,
Okay.
which was just weird. I also have a note that I'm still pissed about whoever taught the Sultan to pin because the fact that he just like puts his two little hands on his chest and expects to like pick up any victory is crazy.
He literally looks like he's getting a manicure. I'm not even gonna
No,
be like
he goes, and you're like, okay,
you want square or round?
100%. I
Square.
like this isn't Legally Blonde, all right? This is like the bend and snap is not coming.
I know, please. I mean, like, I would love that, but I
I
don't
just know
know.
it's
Like,
not. I just
I
know
just
it's
know it's
not. I
not. I've accepted it. Like, please pin like a normal person. I don't know.
ugh. Anyway, so this match is not very long because Hunter and China make their way back
Ding
from wherever they
dong.
came from and just start wailing on Goldust.
Mm-mm.
And then it's just all three of them. Just all three of them.
Yeah,
They do a like a double team pile driver on Goldust in the corner, and then the Sultan just lays on like the camel clutch and just
for
is just
fun.
laying waste to Goldust.
Laying waste. What a
Um,
sin. Yeah, everybody jumps in. China, Triple Eight. They all were like, "Oh, we're gonna beat him up together. How fun!" Do 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 do
no,
do,
yeah,
and
they were
just
just
start
like look
wrecking
at
his
this,
life.
like what is I don't know, it's just like why are they hanging out? Like I know like they both are fighting Goldust, like I get that, but like you don't want to like fight each other at all. I don't,
I
you know what I
mean,
mean? I'm always very confused as to like how they orient themselves as far as like you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I know Hunter has like beef with Goldust, like I know they have like an ongoing thing, but
hmm
like if I was a Sultan, I would just be like just swinging for the fences anyway. Like you know what I mean? Like,
hmm
but
If it was me, I wanted if I had already almost walked out before, I'm definitely walking out now. I'd be like,
that's what.
"Oh, you guys got this?
No, exactly.
I'm
Like
out."
I don't need to get my hands dirty. I'm
Yeah,
good.
and also, I'm sorry, if we're talking about we're doing this for the country, representing the country, ba ba ba. Iron Sheik gives him the flag at one point, and the Sultan smashes and destroys the flag of their country
Over
over Gold
Goldust
Dust
back.
back. It's like, what are we talking about? Like,
Right.
be like, please. I don't know. I was just like, I just feel like that didn't equal two. The one and the one didn't equal two. I don't know, but you do you, I guess.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if we see more of the Sultan. Who knows? So
Anybody's guess.
next we get a promo. It just do you remember
I
uh
can't wait. I
do you
can't
remember
wait to see if I
do you
remember.
remember like all that where there was like know your stars, and they would just like juxtapose like just like a bunch of pictures of like it's
Yes.
like Jamie Lynn Spears like eats like hot dogs like from the bag, you know what I mean, like just something gross.
Yeah, like something super random. Like stars, they're just like us, but it was like like it was a gimmick. Like it was
Right, it was a gag.
silly. Yeah.
But the way that this was like edited together feels like that.
You're kind of correct.
It
Yeah.
is just like a just weird Frankenstein promo of like three separate promos. There's like a
Mm-hmm.
live promo that he's doing in South Africa. There's a live promo he's doing in Kuwait, and then there's a backstage promo that he's doing, I guess, in South Africa. But they've cut it all together, in and it just keeps going like back and forth. So it's just like it's just a weird uh, promo, I guess, is generous. It really is. It reads more like a commercial or like an infomercial.
Yes.
Um,
Fully.
basically, he's like, "I'm proud to like be the hero, like for you all, like around the world." Which, okay, Narcissus, but like, sure. He's like, "I'm proud to be the hero for you all."
Yeah.
And then, he goes, just starts ragging on the American fans as per usual.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I guess, in at the time, like worked. I feel like if he were to like that gimmick, like his anti-American thing, like wouldn't work today, just because we'd all be like, no, yeah, this sucks.
Yeah, no, tensions are like too high. Like
No,
we'd just be
yeah.
like it would just World War III would break out immediately. Like we'd be like, cool, let's do it.
No,
Like the
literally, we'd be
revolution
like,
is here. Viva la revolution.
yeah, there would be no like Brett wouldn't be the bad guy. Like he would just be
No, we'd
like,
all be like, woo, this man's preaching. Put him on the podium
and that's what
at the
I'm
next
saying.
rally because
Um,
this is the tea.
no, basically. And then he addresses both Hunter, no, my apologies, both Sean and Stone Cold. He basically says like Sean's like lying about him. He uses some slur or word. They bleep it out. I don't really know what it was. I have my guesses. But he basically is
Yeah.
like he's like Shawn Michaels that blank like spreading
Mm.
lies about me. So I'll
Yeah,
let
Xavier and I had
you
a little guess your curse word, see
right.
what we thought. I think Xavier is correct. I didn't think that at the time, but I was like,
Mm.
oh, you are probably correct, what he said. So
So I mean, you can watch it and choose your own adventures because we might not ever know. Um, I will say my favorite line of this whole little commercial is when he addressed Stone Cold, and he's like, "Get better or get beaten," and I was like, "Ooh, love that, love that."
everyone's coming
That's
with the slogans
I
today.
know he really came in hot. Basically that's that. He's like, you're not me, essentially. And so do what you think you can, but I will beat you for the third time.
Mm,
And you know what? Again, not wrong.
not
You know?
wrong. I know. I want to mention this really briefly. We were at the wrestling store at Suplex and
Hmm.
we were like looking through the t-shirts and somebody at the front desk was like, "Oh, who's your favorite?" Or somebody they were talking about wrestling obviously. And someone was like, "Oh, who's your favorite wrestler?" And this guy goes, "Oh, Bret Hart. I love the guy." And Xavier and I were like, "Oh my God." Like looking at each other and then he started talking about like the future of Bret Hart's career from where we are now and we were like, "La la la la."
No,
La. Like
literally, I was like,
I
I
had to walk
walked away.
you
I
were
was
like,
like, we.
walk away. And I was like, okay, la 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 la. But like he was saying, he goes, I mean, he was the excellence of execution. Like he was just so
Hmm.
amazing. And I was like, it's so cool that we're watching him right now and like they're talking about like 30
Hmm.
years later how he's like their favorite wrestler. It's
Right.
just really cool. So I was like, he just has that thing. Like I love Bret Hart. I feel no shame in loving Bret Hart. It's just like so amazing. But yeah, I was like, we were like, oh God, walk away, walk away, walk away.
Yeah, right,
But
right. I'm telling you, these 30-year-old spoilers, they're hard. They're hard to
their
avoid.
horns, Savoy girl. That was I don't ever expect like that to be the thing. Like I don't expect I how do I explain this? Like I don't expect when someone's like and I don't know why I don't expect this when someone's like, "Oh, who's your favorite wrestler?" People will say people we're watching now from 30
Right.
years ago. Like I do, but I don't
Hmm.
because I don't know, there's also like so many amazing wrestlers now and not saying that they also don't love them. But you know what I'm saying? Like always
Well,
takes me off guard.
right. Well, right now, like wrestling has like is approaching kind of the same kind of popularity today as it did like back then. So like
Mm.
people's favorites, like there's obviously in the interim where it wasn't at this like peak. There's tons of wrestlers. That's where you're like your Orton, your Cena, your whatever. That's where they live.
Mhm.
But like when we're talking about like huge stars, like it's the era we're watching right now.
Mm.
Oh, it's Hogan, the era we're watching right now, and then like Roman, like and stuff today.
Mm.
And they're on top of the world. They just had the biggest WrestleMania they've ever had.
Yeah,
So,
which we also watched this weekend.
oh yeah, oh we watched the two main events of WrestleMania 40.
So
I had
crazy.
to fill her in. We had to give her
And
um
I'd seen clips which we talked about. Like I'd never seen so many places circulating like clips from the match. So I'd seen some things,
mhm.
but watching it from start to finish was like insane. And we also watched Sting's last match. Wow, we had a
Oh,
full weekend, you
we
guys.
did have
That's why we're
no,
up so late.
yeah,
Uh,
just
Gavin,
gabbing and watching wrestling.
you know,
So I'm once again looking forward to that Bret Hart Stone Cold fight. Always down, always
always,
here for it.
always.
So in our next match, after we cut away from, I guess, South Africa, we're back in America because we're all over the place,
There we
and
go.
it is the Headbangers taking on Mankind Invader with Paul Bear. We know that last week Mankind Invader had a little bit of like a skirmish at the end of the match, where they came to blows, and then it dissipated and they were fine. So the big question was like, are they actually fine? Basically, we've just
Mm.
taken the plot of Owen and Bulldog and just applied it to Vader and Mankind
Without, yeah, any of the family intrigue, because none of us are quite sure why they're together either.
in the first place,
Like,
literally.
we're all just like, I don't know, I guess break up. Whatever.
That's
Like,
what
you
I'm
guys weren't that
saying.
good to begin with for each other. But sure.
Um, so the Headbangers do look impressive in this one. They do a double suplex on Vader, which is what you have to do when it's Vader.
I
Um,
swear.
at one point, Mankind is like just so fed up with like the match, he just like runs in and knocks like both the Headbangers like out of the ring and just starts like fighting both of them by himself on the ring apron. And we're just like, and Vader's like in the ring, just like, hello.
Like,
Um, Jim Cornette made some nonsense about recreational dentistry in regards to
made no
Mankind
sense.
whatsoever. It was weird.
It
But
was bizarre.
the point he was like trying to connect was like that like Mankind just like attacks body parts, I guess,
So then
which
he's like a Dr.
seems
Frankenstein.
seems to be like I don't know. The name of the game in wrestling is probably attacking a body part.
I don't
But
know if you've been here before,
that's just
but
me.
it's not
So
like we're having a battle of wits.
right.
Like, it's,
They're not no. This isn't like a debate.
the limit does not exist.
So the recreational dentistry line was just wild, but he was on it for like a minute, which is why I wrote it
Like
down.
too long. At one point, Jim during this match, I was like, Jim, stop talking. Like
Hmm.
he went on a tangent so
Hmm.
far, and like I was like, what? lead me back. I want to go back. What are we talking about? Like,
No,
just
100%. I was like, you've
stop.
taken me off-roading and your machete is dull and now I'm in the weeds. Like, I
No,
don't know what's happening.
I'm
Like, I
saying,
don't know what's
take me
happening.
back, hit it, put it in reverse, because now I want to go home. Now I'm sticky and I smell, and now I'm just gonna be upset the rest of the day. Like, just take me home.
Amen. I will say, Honky Tonk Man did have a saving grace moment in this. He gave us a little just something we were thinking. Very
Mm,
much in the same way that Jerry normally has like a line or two an episode where he says exactly
where we're
what
like,
we've been thinking. So he just comes on like because he's not in this match because he's in South Africa. So he like comes on. He's like, "Hey, it's Jim Cornette. Like, I got something to say to like Jim Cornette. Like, can you hear me?" He's like, Jim's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Why did Vader fire you?"
"Ooh,
And just kept going. Which honestly, same. Why did Vader fire you? What happened? You got
what
Tombstone,
happened?"
and then all of a sudden you had no clients, and then you disappeared. Somebody needs to talk about this because
I'm
we want
saying
to know.
you come back here with nothing. No, like, hey Jim, where you been? What's been going on? Who are your clients now? Why are you even here? Didn't even know you still had a job, and suddenly you're just like announcing at a match or commentating on a match. What do you mean?
Right.
And like, so Honky Tonk Man just being like, why Vader fire you? Just wondering. We were like, tell us,
No,
Jim. And Jim's like,
literally.
uh, I sold his contract. Whatever, it's not important. And it's like,
Right. Mm,
did you though?
mm,
Like, or did you just lose everybody? You're like he's going like the Sunny route where it's like you have no clients you're representing, you're not managing anybody. You just get thrown on the announce table once in a while, and I'm really not sure why you're here.
facts.
So
Like use him properly if you have
get it
him.
together,
But
Jim. Because yeah, if you want to be the heel manager, be the heel manager. He was so good at that stupid tennis racket. I just want to punch him right in the
mhm.
face. And when he got
Right.
tombstone pile drive by or choke slammed, one of them, either way,
He was
attacked by
taken
the
out.
Undertaker, he was taken out. It was a thrill. What a thrill. I love to
Hmm.
see it. But it's only because we saw him enough to get annoyed by him.
Right.
Now I'm just annoyed because I'm like, where have you been, Jim? On a
Right.
vacation? Like, I don't
Hmm.
know.
Yeah. And it's the audacity to say nothing. It's you know what I
That
mean? It's
and that's
like
what gets me.
right. It's just the like, oh, are we oh, we're just supposed to accept that. Okay, moving on.
And like no comments about it. Which why I was like, you know what, Honky Tonk Man? You get one gold star from me today.
Right.
Boop, just one. Thank
Hmm.
you.
And you have that like scraper ready, so don't
I
don't
do
don't get too
I
attached.
absolutely do. Yeah.
Um, so Mosh spits something in Mankind's eyes, which just ends his match
Hmm.
essentially.
Hmm.
Mankind's like blind, and then at one point he attacks Vader because he can't see and puts Vader in the mandible claw and
Mm,
like it's just choking out Vader and like Paul is once again just like trying to rip Mankind's like body off of Vader because
mm-hmm.
we're here again,
Mm-hmm.
which is just wild, which absolutely
Wild.
is.
I have to say this. How do you not know that's not Vader?
Or
Like,
not one of the
how do
headbangers.
yes, how do you not know that you're fighting Vader compared to the headbangers? Even just like the mandible I know it's
Just
part of
feel
the
him.
storytelling.
Just feel
Thank
him.
you. Just touch him. He has a
Just touch
mask
him.
on and the headbangers don't. If you're laying the mandible claw on him, don't you feel the chin strap, the mask, don't you
Right.
feel the bod? Like, don't you feel the
Right.
density? The headbangers are like small and like light
No,
on
they're
their
only small by comparison of them.
of
Like they're
Vader,
not
but that's what I'm
right.
saying. They're not like I'm not saying they're like petite,
No, but
but
by
like
comparison,
compared
they're
to Vader,
slight. They're like, yeah, they're
I
like
just was
little
like, how do
babies.
you not know? Or even Vader just going, ow, like stop hitting me. Like, I don't know.
Right,
I was just like, this makes no sense. Whatever, it's fine. I know it's for the story. I get it. But I was like, how do you not know?
right. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But we do get the Undertaker's voice just booming over the arena. Basically he's just like the end is at hand. He's talking about excuse me, Mankind talking about like how he's going to experience the rage of the Undertaker. And then he ends it. He goes, Mankind, you will not rest in peace, but you can burn in hell. And I was like, oh,
Ooh,
love
oh,
that.
it gave me a chill all over again.
Right. Love that.
Wow. I love when people say like you can't do this. but you will do this. I love
Right.
one of those.
Hmm.
Love one of those.
Right.
The
He's
good
just
one.
like, no, either way, I am the ruler of your destiny. So,
Wow. So good.
And then that is followed up with the most forced, uncomfortable,
Mm,
um montage of
mm-mm.
the bikini, what did we call that? The bikini.
We call it, I said the bikini blast off, but that's not technically what it was.
Right.
Like,
No, it was the bikini portion of the Slammy Awards,
which,
of the Miss Slammy Awards,
why?
technically.
So all night they were teasing. They would show little clips randomly throughout the episode of like tonight, and it was like Marlena in her bathing suit. And we were like, that's like the
Okay.
Slammies, right? Because
Right.
I
We've been seeing this.
believe
Right.
me, I would never forget what Sable wore to the Slammies.
Right.
It's ingrained in my
Or
memory
what
in such
Sable
a way.
didn't wear to the Slammies. Is
Thank you so yes. What was clearly lacking, and that's clothes. But I like they just kept showing these clips and then leading up to just this silent montage with oh, I'm sorry, no, not silent, with the jazziest saxophone music just replaying the bathing suit
it
portion
it
of the
was
Slammies.
and it was like it when I tell you like this saxophone was the porniest saxophone I've ever heard. It like that is some
Corniest.
straight up Bill Clinton ass nonsense. This was crazy. It had no other purpose than to just be it was softcore porn is what it was.
A
They
hundred
gave us a
percent.
3-minute like little montage of some softcore porn. It
Mm,
was slow motion. It was all of them in bikinis. It was very like it was zoomed in shots on asses. It was
mm.
like tasteful side boob. Like we know what we're doing. But
You might as well have made it into a GIF and put it on Tumblr.
that's what I'm saying. It would have blown up
Softcore
on
porn.
Tumblr. Like,
Blown
uh,
up.
what
Blown
was the
up.
tag? What was the tag on Tumblr? Do you remember?
NSFW.
No, there was another one that you used to do when you like. Oh,
Oh. Oh God.
I don't
Oh my God,
remember.
I don't remember. Shame. Shame
Hmm.
on me. Because
It's been a long
it was
time since we've
used.
been
I
Tumblr
mean,
girls.
swear to God, we were
Yeah.
filthy Tumblr girls.
uh,
Um, yeah, no, it would have been a killing
yeah,
on Tumblr, but
absolutely. But it was just so
what
it was just so
so
random.
random. Why? Because again, the Slammies happened weeks ago, and it was like
Weeks ago.
tonight, and I was like, "Are we getting like a new bathing suit segment in South Africa? Like, what's happening?" And then they just played that for fun. I guess
Right.
it was so random. They were like,
Mm.
"Oh, oh, look, we have hot girls here. Remember?" Like,
Hey.
okay, like remember, like calm down, put
Too
it
much.
away.
No, stop.
Whoop.
Right. It was just like, okay. Like I understand the audience that you're serving. Like I baseline, I understand what you're doing. I get
Right.
it.
Do better.
But what like in the context of this, like this was the weirdest episode of Raw I've ever seen.
Ever seen. You some what about you bringing Raw to South Africa said, bring in the bikini clips."
Right.
About Bret Hart yelling somewhere in Kuwait about how much he hates America, he was like, they were like, "Bring in the titties. Bring
Right.
him in. Show him the ass. Let's
Mm,
do it." Why? Like, why? Like, do it any other time. Any other time.
any other time. Um, Speaking of ass, our next match is Ahmed Johnson taking on Crush. But
Mm,
first, we were visited once again by the Commandant of the Truth Commission. So apparently, our initial thoughts were
instinct.
correct. There
Okay.
is going to be somebody entering the squared circle on the behalf of the Truth Commission, whether that's him specifically or if he's the manager of like a team. He used the term "we" a lot when he was talking in his promo, so it makes me
Mm.
believe it's like a tag team or something. Um,
Oh,
but I could be wrong. I don't
interesting.
know. So we'll see what that turns into. I don't know what the Truth Commission really entails, um, but alas.
We'll see. We'll figure it out.
Um, Yeah, so this is Crush taking on Ahmed Johnson. This is just a everlasting feud between Ahmed
Mhm.
Johnson and the Nation. Crush still has a bad face tattoo. Um,
I will
I
say though, I know this is shameful of me. He kind of looked good this episode. I don't know why. I don't know. I think because his hair got like kind of askew. I was like, Crush, what's going on over there?
well,
How are
I
you?
that's not real. So like, yeah, he's not like a bad looking guy. He just has an ugly face tattoo.
Yeah, well, I know that, but like, I don't know, his hair like came in front of his face up because like the ponytail came undone, and I was like, oh,
Oh, hey, girly.
wait, Crush, wait up.
Not
I haven't talked to you. How are you? Like,
not
what's going
Kelsey just
on?
having like slow motion crush like montages playing in her head.
Horrible. I know. What a turncoat. I don't mean it. I don't mean it. I was just weak for just a minute. Shh,
Listen, you can like
fine.
whoever you like. I'm not.
Thanks.
There
Thanks.
will be a time where we violently disagree.
Yeah, for sure, for
Um,
sure.
which is fine. I have just on a note, double cheeked up on a Tuesday.
For what?
Sh-
For me.
for me, literally. Um, JR on commentary was like going off on Farouk. He was just like, he was telling the honky tonk man was telling Crush to like listen to Farouk, and for JR just goes, he's been talking all day. Like you're
Like,
just and you're like, oh,
tweaked. He was
uh,
waiting. He was waiting for somebody to throw out the bait about Ahmed so he could just grab
yeah,
it.
just
Or
clap on.
about Farouk.
No,
He was ready to throw
mm-hmm.
hands.
Uh,
Ready.
yeah, of course we have, D'Lo cheating on the outside. I did have a little giggle moment when Crush did 3 consecutive leg drops, all while holding his like leg up every time he did it. I don't know, there was just something about it that just like it gave me very what am I thinking of? The Rockettes, like
Mm.
just high kicks.
Because I didn't realize until you said it that like most people don't like hold up their leg to do a leg drop. They just lift it. And I was
Right,
like, are your jeans too tight? Like, what's
that
the
might
issue?
be it.
Because they are kind of tight. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't wrestle in those
Also,
jeans, to be
wrestling in
honest.
jeans sounds crazy. I wouldn't
Crazy,
want to
unless
do
Bret
that.
Hart does it, because you know how
That was great.
that was great.
Mhm, mhm,
But never forget. But yeah, I didn't realize it, and then you said it, and then he did it again. I was like, wow, that is kind of weird. Where he was just like,
mhm. Right. I was like,
kind of
all right,
silly.
go off, go off, go off.
Do your
Uh,
thing.
Savio Vega makes an appearance, because the nation needs to be in full force at all times. Um, Crush also implements that weird trap grab thing, and I was like, "Is
So
this like a
weird.
nation specialty?"
I
Question
hate
mark.
it. Thanks. I hate
Don't really
it.
know what's going on there. Ahmed Johnson performs what might be the messiest elbow drop I've ever seen. He like goes to
Mm-mm.
like drop the elbow on Crush, and then like Crush like moves slightly, and then it ends up just being like hit Ahmed's back landing on Crush's face, which just looked awkward and didn't really seem like what was supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm. Just
Uh
not the best.
no. So essentially the match continues and Crush takes off his belt and starts choking Ahmed Johnson with it while the referee is distracted by one of the 800 members of the nation running around.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he basically like all but chokes him out. He then like gets rid of the belt, puts Ahmed Johnson quickly in like a sleeper hold so that the referee can like come over and check to see if he's done.
Mm-hmm.
Um and no, Ahmed Johnson's not done. We
Mm-mm.
continue the match. He counters the heart punch and then rolls into a cradle and gets the pin over Crush right in front of all members of the nation. You love it when it's like it's happening right smack dab in the center of the ring and there's nothing they can do about it.
Yep, it happens so quick. They're just like, wait, 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 and it's over. Love
Mhm.
it.
So after the match, Farouk grabs the mic, and this part is a little bit confusing to me. I think what the gist of it was is that Farouk wants to put Ahmed Johnson through like a gauntlet kind of situation where he beats
Mm.
all the members of the nation, leading up to, I guess, the big boss fight, which is Farouk.
Mm-hmm.
But then he says something which was a little bit surprising, is like, if you can beat all of us, then I will relinquish control of the nation.
Mm.
So I don't really know what that is or what that's going to look like over like how long this is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens there. I'm hoping that they clarify it next week because I don't know.
Well, remember when Ahmed was like, "Oh, if I can like beat whatever, like Farouk's not here, like you guys have to disband. Remember
Mm.
there was like that weird challenge and we were
Oh,
like,
maybe
hope they
that's what.
clarify this. Like, I don't know,
Right.
maybe this was Farouk's like comeback like with his counter offer. Like, I don't really know. But I the verbiage is what's really intriguing to me because it's like he's like, I'll give up the nation of domination, like, or relinquish control of
Mm-hmm.
them. So it's like, does that mean Ahmed Johnson like inherits control? Or like
Right.
he like they
I don't
just
know.
disband? Like, I'm very curious about it. Like, what's the tea here?
We will find out. And there needs to be a development because this feud's been going on for a minute.
For so long.
Um,
So long.
but that's where the episode leaves us, guys. So that was another episode of the New to Wrestling podcast. Stick around this week. We are going to have the final installment of the New to Wrestling podcast After Dark, the rise and fall of ECW. It'll be the part 3. And to kind of tack on to that, we also watched ECW's Barely Legal,
You
their
guys.
first pay-per-view, 1997. And so that's going to be kind of like a little two-parter, I guess, or it might be an extra long episode. We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, so it'll be ECW The Rise and Fall Part 3 and our coverage of Barely Legal 1997.
So
Um,
amazing.
so amazing. It was Kelsey's first ECW pay-per-view.
Yeah, I never seen one. And like I was so excited because I think we talked about this in the last After Dark episode. I was like, man, I'd love to watch this episode. And I was thinking it like while we were watching it, and you were like, "Ooh, we should watch the Barely Legal one." And I was like, "Really? You mean it? You swear?"
Really?
I really want to watch it. Like, and so we did when we got together this weekend, we watched it. It was crazy.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
I did get
insane.
some footage of us watching it together, so I'll sneak in whatever I can sneak in or whatever actually works from that. But yeah, so that was this week's episode, guys. Stick around for After Dark later this week, and we will catch you next time.
We'll see you there.
Bye.
Bye.